live from Dunamis Church. This is Today at Dunamis. I'm your co-host, Ed, and we have a great show for you today. Now, let's get this intro out of the way, and let's get the host of the show in here, Shaun ED.
Here we are today to talk life at Dunamis.
Hello, great to be back again.
Hello, Shaun. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's like every second week I get to see you.
Yeah, literally.
Last week we had a great interview. I thought it was a great interview.
Yes, Eddie was awesome. That interview was just great, powerful, a lot of positive feedback. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest followings we've had watching it. So
it was good.
A bit of shout out there to...
Yeah, make sure you share this video right now. If you're not sharing it right now... No, I'm just kidding.
So big thank you to Pastor Eddie Massis as well over there in California.
Yes.
And which is great. I also see that one of the lead worship singers that's been doing a lot of the programs, and just get his name on my Facebook. I had it posted.
Yes.
And he was sharing, well, he was in Nashville, I believe it was, Tennessee, and I got the story given to me by a friend called Perry Boland over there, and let me get his name properly here. Shaun, Feucht.
You.
No,
you said this comment.
No, he's Irish.
Oh, another Shaun.
It's
Oh,
Irish
another
name,
two.
SEA. My name is English spelt.
Yes.
But it says Shaun, Feucht in Nashville. Foyt.
Foyt.
Thank you. That's our switcher lady, Erica. Shaun Foyt. In Nashville, was arrested, seemingly.
Oh.
He said the Christian worship leader Shaun Foyt hosted a worship protest that drew thousands of people who appeared to be largely maskless to the courthouse grounds in Nashville on Sunday night. Well, imagine if you want to get attention, you go to the courthouse grounds.
Yes.
You're asking for trouble, I suppose.
Yeah, big time.
And Foyt, who is based in California and has amassed hundreds of thousands of followers across social media, posted a video of the gathering saying the event faced resistance and had 3 venue changes before landing at the courthouse. And so it also mentions there that he was arrested. He said police officer escorted him out tonight. He estimated 9,000 to 10,000 worshippers.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got one comment from a contact over there in America who said she was a great fan of his, but she's a bit controversial.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's wrong. But she said that she wasn't as happy with him because, and I don't know how true it is, I'm only reporting what someone said as a comment, to repeat what this lady said, her name is Jessica, said that he says that his style is that only worshiping outside, not inside.
Mm-hmm.
She found that disappointing. I don't know. I'm just saying this is the situation they're in, and that's what's happening. But there's a lot of news that happens across the place.
Much has been happening.
So much has been happening.
Yeah,
and
it's good though.
Well, some is good, some is not. I mean, I think of Queensland, or not Queensland, Australia. It seems like so many of our premiers are in trouble.
Oh, yeah, let's get into that now. So we have Dan Andrews in Melbourne, Victoria, has been asked to hand in telephone records of his communications with the whole like security guard debacle and all that.
That was by
the
Tony Abbott.
Yep.
When he was Prime Minister, I don't know, Chief of Staff or something. She was the one, Peter.
Oh, Peter Credlin.
Yeah,
yes.
Who dropped the questions.
Yes.
So that caused somebody resigning and all sorts of things happening.
Yes. Then we have in New South Wales and Sydney, we also have...
You mentioned the premiers last time. It's hard to...
Gladys
Berejiklian. Yeah.
And now she's currently being investigated with ICAC due to some relationship she has with someone who is currently also being investigated.
It was a secret boyfriend she had for several years.
Yeah.
Who is actually fraudulent or something.
Yeah, committing heaps of fraud.
Not that she has committed any fraud, but she is indirectly associated.
Yeah. She should have revealed that this friendship or past relationship when she came on as Prime Minister as maybe like a conflict of interest.
She's not a Prime Minister, she's a
Premier.
Premier.
Premier is a conflict of interest, but she never did. And then here in Queensland, we have the opposition leader, Deb...
Freckleton.
That word.
Yeah.
is now being referred to her own party to the election watchdog.
I thought it was not her own party, but the crime and misconduct was reported, saying that you have a news report?
Yeah. So Queensland opposition leader Deb Frecklington, I think I said that right, has been referred to by the state election watchdog by her own party. The LNP referred Deb over concerns of a serious fundraising event that could have violated laws aimed at curbing the political influence of property developers.
Her own party dobbed her in.
Yeah, her own party dobbed her in. Yeah.
You don't need Labour. You can just have your own party.
Yeah, own party. Well, I mean, it's good that they're trying to keep their own party accountable instead of just
I hope it is that.
ICAC.
I think there might be a little bit of agenda. But anyhow,
Yeah.
The issue is, if you are a developer, you're a criminal without being charged according to the Queensland state laws.
So Shaun, since we're live, do you have anything you'd like to reveal about any conflicts of interest? Do you need an ICAC hearing?
Let's see. I don't think that I could ever qualify to be a politician.
You talked about this. Yeah.
Because if you want to run to be a politician, they do a background search on comments of things you've made.
Yes.
And probably after my sermon on Sunday night, it just continued to verify that I would not qualify to be a politician. But that's okay.
What are you talking about? That was not a edgy or controversial sermon. It was real simple, just talking about some basic stuff on boundaries.
Loving boundaries.
Yeah, loving boundaries. It wasn't too crazy.
Well, it depends on your beliefs. But the fact of the matter is, it was loving boundaries, not condemning or judging or anything else, but it's reminding us on our Christian values, because this is the regrettable thing, Ed.
Yes.
A lot of churches, in particular, we take note of the most popular churches because they're bigger.
Yes.
The most popular churches just refuse to make comment on the loving boundaries that God has. Now, I use the word loving boundaries, although some might say, well, how's that loving? Well, like the key point I said at that message was this, is that when God tells you no, there's always two positives.
Yep.
Positive one is
he is going to provide you with something better.
So the first positive is that when God says no to you, it's because God has something better for you.
Yep.
And the second positive is
that he was protecting you from something worse.
He's protecting you from something worse. So when God says no to you in whatever situation, it could be a business deal, it could be a relationship, could be our behavior, God is saying no through his word for two reasons. One is he has something better.
Yep.
And two is he's protecting you.
Yes. And can I say, that was very challenging for me when I was sitting in the auditorium hearing you say that. I felt very like, I can't believe you just said that. But then it's so true. Like, I was looking at things in the past with relationships and friendships, and it's like, at that time it hurt. But then when you gave that revelation of, God was protecting me from that, it was like, whoa. Yeah, that's so true. And now, like, I've seen an improvement in my life. I've been experiencing a lot more positive stuff, and yeah, it's true. He was protecting me. He's got something better for me. Yeah. That's the part. God always has something better for you.
Yeah, and it is a hard truth.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy afterwards, but when you feel that God closes the door on whatever situation, when God closes the door, it's disappointing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And what Proverbs 13:12 says, a hope deferred makes the heart grow sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. And when you're hoping for something and the door closes, then it is a disappointment and it hurts. And there's a moment of hurt, especially if there have been emotions or feelings involved.
Yes.
And it has a disappointment. But, this is part of the Christian journey. And that's why it's not enough to believe in God. You have to believe God.
Yes.
So many Christians, Ed, believe in God, but so too does the devil, and the demons believe in God. But the fact of the matter is, we must go beyond to just believe in God. We must believe God, meaning believe God at his word, and Jesus and the word are one. And the people try to separate it.
Yeah.
And it's just not true. And many times there's a price to pay. But that's part of what God has. There are many things in my growing up in my earlier years, my late teenage years, where I was really wanting to press into God. I still want to press into God. And there are many areas where perhaps the senior pastor at that time was a little tough. Some would say a lot tough, but a little tough. But the fact of the matter is, I chose to believe that God was in control ultimately. And even doors that closed came about. Take, for example, when Sandra and I connected. We were both on staff, and I felt God brought us together. And for 3 months, we just met and prayed. There was no physical contact, no holding hands, no pushing up against like your arm resting on her, nothing at all, because we realized that it's so easy to have this emotional feeling. We want to know if it was God. And ultimately, the ultimate test wasn't just us praying and seeking God, but was asking for the senior pastor or the pastor to bless us. So we went to the youth pastor, Rodney Clement was his name, and he was the senior pastor's brother. Still is, not was. And we went to him because he was the youth pastor or the head of pastoral, and we were on the staff, and caught him completely off guard. And he just said, no, I don't believe this is of God. Now, Sandra and I had held to the view that if it was a no, that A, God had something better, and B, God was protecting. Sandra might have thought God was protecting her from me, you know what I mean, me from her. So we said, okay, and so it so affected Rodney when we said, okay, because instead of us get angry or react or rebel, we said, okay. And we left the room. He said, well, hang on a minute. I'm going to just get advice further up. So he went to his brother. We waited outside, and his brother, who's a senior pastor, called us in, and he had the opposite reaction. He says, this is God.
Oh, wow.
So 38 years married later, you know, our son, who's 29, and who's married to Jacinta and 2 beautiful grandchildren, we're rejoicing. You can't always tell, Ed, the perfect marriage or the perfect couple.
Exactly. No such thing as a perfect couple.
Well, I say in the pre-marriage counseling, we ask the young couple, and we say to them, is this person you're about to marry the only one for you? And 99% of the time they say?
Yes.
They say yes. Yes. And we say, no, it's not true. If something doesn't happen or they don't choose to, God still has someone for you.
Yes.
And it's being able to trust God in that situation, that he is in control. And I think that's the whole bigger picture of that message of Sunday night about loving boundaries, is that there are boundaries in everything. People will pick out one thing that makes them react. And they'll forget about the other 10 or 12 things. I mean, the Bible says if you even look upon a woman in lust, then you committed adultery. Just by looking. But they won't pick up that. You know, we'll talk about if a man is living with a woman, committed sin, but they won't pick on that. It'll just be the one thing that agitates them that they think is not affected. And but you know, in what we shared on loving boundaries, when I do share those things, as many churches won't, it does have a permanent record today.
Yes, literally.
It's not like the old cassette tapes. It's in the air, you might say. It's there.
It's being streamed in the air.
It can be pulled down at any time.
Through 5G towers. It's coming, people.
So I can assure you that I will not be ever running in the political arena.
Well, we've talked about this. You can do more for the politics you agree with on the outside than on the inside. Some people are better on the outside. Some people are good on the inside. I feel you're good on the outside. I think I'm good on the outside.
I think that it's according to what you're called to.
Yes.
Maybe I'll switch you. Remember to put me on. Maybe it's according to what we're called to.
You said that. Some people.
Because I mean, if you feel called to a certain area, then you feel the blessing. But if you don't feel the call, so there are people that we have connected to us who are politicians.
Yes.
Now they might not come out as forward as I would, and I'm not asking them to. That's my job. I believe the role of the church is not to Christianize this world.
Yes.
We're to evangelize. We're not to Christianize, we're to evangelize. So I respect other people's views. I respect other people's beliefs. But at the same time, I would like mine respected.
Yes.
If someone said to me, I'm an atheist, an agnostic, or Muslim, or Buddhist, then I need to respect their views.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But at the same time, I'm asking them to respect my views. So my job is not to evangelize, meaning my job is not to Christianize, which I mean to force my views. But my job is to evangelize and share. And so what I do is I believe I work more effectively as a mouthpiece.
Yes.
I prefer to say as a conscience to my beliefs. And that's it. So I would never support a Christian politician. Let's just take Donald Trump, which has nothing to do with Australia. But we do suffer the ramifications of what the American president does.
Yes.
If Joe Biden comes in as president and he makes these extreme Paris Treaty beliefs and statements, he has said that he would force other nations to agree with them by doing, embargoes.
Yeah, start
towards them,
embargoing us.
which I think is totally unfair. So that's not giving us the freedom to choose, that's forcing us.
Yes.
So could you imagine if we as Christians said, this is our belief, but we will force you, otherwise you're in jail. It's wrong.
Yeah. Totally
wrong.
Yeah.
And I've heard Joe Biden, through interviews say he would force those things on us. And this is what I don't understand, how these groups will chastise the church, but yet feel totally free to force it on others. So someone says, well, what about abortion? Well, I don't believe that realistically I can stop abortion. But what I do want is that government money stop being used and stop making it so freely used, because it's all of our money.
Yes.
It should stop being used and for these things, because I believe it's totally wrong.
Yes.
And that's my belief. But if I meet someone who's had an abortion, I don't spray them or get angry at them. I just say, God loves you.
Yeah, well, it goes back to, hate the sin, not the sinner.
That's right. And yet I meet so many people with the liberal view where they can't separate the different view. They just want to attack you. So if I met somebody who had different sexual beliefs, they won't have a conversation with me. They'll abuse me, threaten me, or try to intimidate in that area, rather than having a discussion. I mean, the old saying is, can't we just agree to disagree and get on with life?
Yeah.
But you also meet Christians like that, where they have certain eschatology views or theological views, and they won't have a conversation. If you don't support what they say, then look out.
Yeah. If you don't think the end times have already happened, then I can't talk to you.
Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, I believe we're in the end times. The end times started in the book of Acts. These are the last days, Prophet Joel.
Yep.
But the fact about it is it comes in. And then so like with Donald Trump, could you imagine if he tried to say, well, I hold to Christian, Judeo-Christian beliefs, and he began to say, so this is going to be the law.
That would be extreme.
But how different is it with some of the other groups come in there who have perhaps what we might call some extreme beliefs in regards to environment and other areas, and they're saying we're going to make it so-so. I mean, this is what happens.
Yeah, it's not.
So we're finding Christians and pastors and worship leaders being arrested. But what about those who are violent or killing and doing things?
Yeah, it's like there's a set of rules for certain people that if you agree with me, you get these special rules. But then if these rules are being applied to people who I don't agree with, they get like their own harsher rules against them.
Yeah.
And it's not fair.
No. On Sunday morning, I was sharing a message which it's called Small Choices.
This one was called Stop.
Yeah, it was the third one in the series. And of course, this Sunday I'll be sharing the fourth one.
Part 4.
And a couple of things I like there on that area. It says this: no matter how old we get, wisdom often hangs in the balance between a good decision and a slippery slope towards disaster. And which is so true. And the older we get, the more we need to be. Well, it doesn't matter how old we are. We just need wisdom.
Just need wisdom, yeah.
Because a good decision versus a bad decision has consequences.
Yes, big time.
And how many people have we met? I mean, I think of a young man. Well, I think he's a young man who's only 21, 20, 21. And a few years back, he made a bad decision. And that bad decision, even though he's repented and asked for forgiveness and God's grace is there, he's going to be paying the price for that for the rest of the days of his life.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible price to pay for a moment or a couple of moments where judgment was not there. Because I also said that wisdom is God's navigational tool.
Yes.
For helping us make decisions about the life we want to live. But the tricky part is stopping for a moment and actually using it before we make the wrong decision.
Yeah. It's like, take a pause before you make a decision. Like, you don't have to make a decision in the moment.
Has there ever been a time, like in your own walk, in your own life, that you can see, thank goodness I stopped and I got God's advice? Or has there been a time when you said, I wish I had of?
Well, I could talk about a little testimony I've never shared. All right, so a couple of weeks ago, Shaun shared Small Choices Part 1. And there was a quote from it that really kind of hit me and kind of spoke to the spirit. And it was, it's the small choices no one sees that result in the big impact everyone wants. So I don't think you noticed, Shaun, but almost about a year and a half ago, I was really close to quitting.
Right.
Like this job, and not just this job.
The call.
The industry, the call. Because I was angry at the reason of why I got into the industry. So the reason why I'm in this industry right now is because I want to serve God in the kingdom to amplify his message to people who can't get it normally. So that's what I believe my call is. Like what we're doing right now. All this kind of technical stuff, thanks to Shaun's, our executive producer's funding. Because of all that technical knowledge I now have, I've been able to put all this together. And I believe this is kind of like what my call is. But that wasn't the reason why I got into the industry, why I got into this, and why even I accepted this job. The reason why I did it was for the wrong reasons. But it wasn't for money. There's not a lot of money in this industry. It wasn't for fame. You don't get famous working on crew. You shouldn't be. It was for reasons that weren't of God. And I was trying to get more forward, I can't share this reason why I did get into the industry because it's very personal. I'm not ready to share it yet. But just know, when I discovered that the reason why I got into industry was wrong and it wasn't for the reason of serving the kingdom, I was like angry. I wanted to quit because when I was at high school, I had a very big choice to make. I could have pursued creative industry, film, audio, that kind of thing, or I could get into accounting. I was really good at accounting at high school.
Really?
I exited it on a B, which I know it's not an A, but that's a B. That's pretty good. And I got a certificate free in music production while I was at high school. So I could have gone and got a diploma or a bachelor of music in bass guitar. So I had all these options available to me, but I never went with them because I wanted to pursue creative industries for a reason that is wrong at the time, but I thought was right. And it wasn't for Christ, but I pursued it, kept going, thought it was the right thing to do. And then when the reasons why I thought getting into industry were right, and then I realized it all kind of just fell apart, I was angry. Like the whole reason why I got into this dang industry, it just wasn't good. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel happy. I was very angry why I got into this industry. For years I've been studying, been getting into this dang industry, and the payoff is I'm not better. Where I'm at isn't good. I was very upset. And it wasn't until I was like, I was really close to just going into Shaun's office and being like, no, I'm out of here, man. I was like just in my quiet time praying. And then I was just thinking about it. And I said, you know what? These skills that I have, there may be pain, there may be anger in them, but I'm going to use these skills only for the kingdom. And after I made that little small change, I kept going. I'm still here. I didn't quit. But after I made that change, saying, you know what, these skills I will only use for the kingdom to glorify God and to move it forward. And because I've stuck with that and that little change I made years ago, we've been able to, I don't think we've missed a Sunday this year during COVID. We've gotten this new podcast set up, and all because of that little small change that no one saw, that mindset change, I'm here now. And it was incredible. I just wanted to share that. That's what I got out of it.
I think it's been, because I keep record on my program here,
Yeah.
30 weeks straight running church since we had the shutdown.
Yeah.
So I think we've done 30 weeks or coming into 31 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
We've done 30 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Some churches are just going back now, but 30 weeks straight since we had the shutdown for those couple of months.
Yeah.
And I still look back about how we set up the auditorium for the 3 different stage sets.
Yeah.
And I think it was a great time.
Yeah, I don't want to toot my horn, but if it wasn't for me, I mean, it would have worked out anyway. But the quality of it, that was pretty good quality. I have to admit,
it was
I
good.
toot my own horn just a little bit.
Just remember what it says in Scripture: don't think too highly of
Yeah,
yourself.
let other people bless you and not yourself.
You certainly are
I
a
know.
blessing, Ed. So we don't want to take away from that. We just want to make sure your head doesn't get too big.
Yeah. Hey,
Otherwise-
I'm the most humblest person I know in the industry. All right, I'm pretty humble.
That's what Moses said. Moses wrote He wrote this himself
yeah.
in the Bible. He says, there is no one more humble on the earth than Moses.
Moses.
Problem is, Moses wrote that. So, but I'll give you a pin so you can pop your head.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to give you the Humble Award.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but when you came to get it, I took it off you. So, but no, Ed, you're an absolute blessing, and we do love you, and thank God for you, which is great. I did see there's a news alert came up in the Courier Mail.
Yes.
Just a few minutes ago, and it says a coronavirus scare has forced Queensland Health to ask some residents in 3 cities to quarantine.
Yep.
And residents in Townsville, Cairns, and Brisbane. Thank the Lord it's not Logan City.
Yeah.
Have been asked urgently to get tested after a Queensland woman who travelled to Melbourne tested positive for coronavirus in Victoria. The woman lived in Townsville but travelled through the 2 other cities in the Sunshine State before flying south. The woman, who is in her 30s, left Queensland on October the 7th. It's taken a little while to catch up. Perhaps that has to do with, they were saying, this is an interesting story, they were saying just the other day that the water treatment, which is waste, that they had detected coronavirus.
I can't believe you can detect coronavirus through sewage.
We have, Nick Fury?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Nick Courtney's husband.
Nick, yeah.
Well, he works in water treatment. And he says that the police come and they track down drugs through the water waste.
Oh, yeah.
And they can trace it all the way to the street.
The street, yeah.
Where the people live. I'm not saying the house, but the street.
Yeah.
So, which is quite interesting. So if they had tested the coronavirus in that water treatment in Townsville, and if it's anything like the drug ones, they'll be able to track it down to the street.
The street, yeah.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
So, and if this is all linked together, then this would explain that there are still some. So I know politically right now, I was reading the latest on our Premier Facebook page through the government, Anastasia Palaszczuk, and she'd put down on her Facebook page, the government one, lowest active cases since July 21, which means there's only 2 cases, I believe.
Wow, that's pretty good.
But and I'm assuming that she is wanting, by the time of the election here, October 31st, to be 0.
Yes.
And many believe that her platform of popularity right now isn't because of any other productive thing that's happening in our state. We have a huge debt, worse, I think, of all the other states.
Yep.
There's no budget. She's refused to do a budget. We have one of the highest unemployments.
Yes.
And all these things. But I believe, and this is contrary to some, I believe she has done, arguably, I'm saying this point arguably, meaning you could disagree, okay? Arguably, I believe she has done a great job with the coronavirus.
Yes.
But not to where I'm voting for her.
Yeah.
But she has done a great job.
Yes.
I would hate to be living in Victoria.
Yes, big time.
And there's nothing to do against Victorians, but I'm just talking about the way things have been handled.
Oh, I think Victorians are pretty lame.
Oh, no,
by
don't
the way.
say that. I got friends who are Victorians. Well, you have a look at it this way. Australia has had 899 deaths.
Yep.
Which is horrendous.
Yes.
Of that 899 deaths, 811 are from Victoria.
Yeah, jeez.
So out of 899 deaths, 811 are from the state of Victoria. New South Wales has 53.
Yep.
Western Australia, 9. Tasmania, of all places, 13. Such a
what
little
the
place.
Heck? Dang.
And Australian Capital Territory is 3. Northern Territory is none. So Australian Capital Territory is Canberra.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Northern Territory is none. It must not like the heat too much.
Yeah.
And Queensland is 6. South Australia is 4.
Yep.
And the last person to die here was back in May.
Yeah.
I think around May 14th, something like that. But you think of it, Ed, 899 deaths, 811 in Victoria, 53 in New South Wales, but 811 Victoria. I would not like to be living in that particular state because of the way it's managed.
Oh, yeah.
And but, we have elections coming up very soon.
Yes.
And very, very soon, October 31st.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think a lot of parties will be super relying on how many deaths and how many active cases are currently going in the state when it comes to their own state elections. That's probably why Palaszczuk hasn't talked about wanting to open up the state, giving a budget because, hey, look at how good our COVID numbers are right now. And that's kind of like what she's standing on. Like I've seen them, they've talked about if the LNP gets in, if you have a registered vehicle, you get like $200 back or something like that. 300.
But there's two questions I want to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one is that just private vehicles or also commercial vehicles?
Yeah, they haven't said.
So, for example, the vehicles that we have here registered to the church, do we get reimbursed for that? I'm thinking no. I haven't heard. The second thing is, and
where's the money coming from?
Well, that's right. So if the LNP doesn't know what the budget is and knows we're into some huge debt, are they going to say, oh, sorry, we just checked the books, we can't afford it? So remember when Campbell Newman came into power, he called into the previous treasurer of Australia to come in, and they did this couple of month thing of just checking up how bad finances were.
Yes.
And then after that, they said, oh, we're cutting back on our promises because we can't afford it.
Yeah.
So, making this promise, maybe they should be saying subject to.
Yeah, yeah. Ideally, if we can, we'll give you guys some extra money.
Yeah, I mean, ideally.
Yeah.
We're going to build a highway from Brisbane to Cairns, or coming up, is it Gympie to Cairns Road, is there? Well, is that in the wish list box, or is that a reality?
Yeah, is that a reality? Can we actually do that?
Does it seem like the Prime Minister went quiet?
Yes.
I mean, look, it's all good ideas, but the reality is, the reality is, I know it's like, what's it going to take to get your vote? But the reality is, why are we so stupid as voters?
Yeah, politicians aren't your friends.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got politicians who are friends to me.
Yes.
But I'm just talking about overall when it comes to elections, it is a very difficult thing, and how the people, everything that's being offered is not a reality of what we need to do.
Realistic, yeah.
And that's what concerns me overall.
Yes.
But it comes in. But when you see those statistics, they're pretty horrendous. They're not a pretty sight, in my opinion. But, that's the way it is. I was looking overall in some of the situations, and I just want to share that with you. I saw that in the United States right now, they've had 215,000 deaths.
Yep.
In the United Kingdom, they've had over 43,000 deaths. There's a big surge going on right now, thousands a day are getting the virus.
Yeah.
And then next week, we have a special guest.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about special guest.
Julie Sutton.
Yeah.
And her husband, David. They're in Guatemala. So we'll be doing live stream.
Yeah, another live phone call in, like with video. Don't worry, it's going to be video, like what we did with Eddie last week with Julie.
Yeah, in Guatemala. And she and her husband, David, have been there for 20 years. Adopted, they have their own children, but adopted several children. And doing a tremendous job. She is from Texas. She's got a very strong Texas accent. You got to talk to her. Yo, come on over. Okay. And when I was living in the United States for those 3 years, going back in the early 90s, she was a part of the fellowship church that we're in there. And when I took a missions team over to Honduras, she came over. She was a nurse, and she was a part of the team there. And I'm not saying she didn't already have that heart, but maybe this helped to confirm of the call. So we'll be talking to her in Guatemala. I was looking up on Guatemala, and it says that they've had 3,410 deaths. Now, the problem with Guatemala, like many of these third world countries, in case your geography is a bit off, Guatemala is Central America.
Yes, I knew that.
North, Central, and South. She's in Central America.
Yep.
And the problem in these countries is the availability of testing.
Yeah.
So their numbers seem a lot lower, but it's because they don't have the ability to test.
The capability to test, yeah.
And then speaking of testings, I want to know, out of the 900 and something people died here, or the 250,000 who died in America, as Pastor Eddie brought up, how many of them died with or from coronavirus?
Yeah, that's still something that they're not wanting to make clear. Like, is it because they had it, or did they just have it present but they died of cancer or something else?
So the problem is that did they die from this, or did they die with it in the system?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of discussion or scrutiny that a large percentage, a very large percentage, are not dying from it, but are dying with it.
With it, yeah.
But because they die with it, it's registered as a coronavirus death. That's something that really disturbs me as well. Just trying to figure out where's all the balance in this and how do we get it all in the right perspective.
It wouldn't surprise me if, like, you know, not even next year we find this out. It wouldn't surprise me if in 10 years' time, the truth comes out where, they just started embroidering the numbers, making them look higher so they get more funding. Like what Eddie said, when someone comes in with COVID and they die from it, they get more money. The hospitals.
Yeah.
You know, there is a financial advantage for saying, they died with COVID. Can we have some money now?
Yeah, and I know
bad.
that they say that there's strict areas on it, and I wonder how much of that happens in Australia.
Yeah, I don't know, Well, we have free healthcare, so we don't really get extra.
Well, the hospital does get support
true.
in
Yeah,
the
it does get
regional
support.
areas, so they do get financial support for it. So it certainly happens. But, these are very real things that are happening around here in our nation and around the world. I think that right now in Queensland, I can't speak for all of Queensland, but in the city we're at,
Yes.
I would probably say that the coronavirus is not really headline news as much as it was. Would you say
Everyone's
so?
kind of just like at the shops, not social distancing and just...
Well, no one's died since May.
Yeah.
And that was only 6 in total.
Yeah.
So even if you know someone who had coronavirus, you don't necessarily know anyone who died with or from.
Yeah.
And the restrictions are still tight. Still as a church. I mean, Eddie was saying they're only allowed to have basically, 25%.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, 25%. That's it.
But that's the same as us.
Yeah.
In our size, and we've got 4 square meters, the same as us. Inside. And I don't understand how we're not allowed to have 100 people outside again. Because before we had that lockdown, it was 100, then it dropped back down to 5, 10.
Yeah.
It's at 30.
It's at 30 now,
30. But why is it not up again?
Yeah, why are they bumping it up? Like, what's the issue here?
There's a lot of things that are happening that I don't fully understand, and I don't think I will be able to. But and then what would happen if the LNP came in and they opened all the borders?
Yeah.
And then we got a big outbreak.
Well, isn't it? It's coming to this weird catch-22 where they're saying, like, even when we get closer to November, December, we, like, as a country can't afford another shutdown. Like, we're already going to go into a recession next year, which I think is true. But, like, even if that
We're already in a
happens-
recession.
we're already
as
in a
nation,
recession.
so,
Sorry.
we're already in it. The
like-
Prime Minister announced that.
Yeah, if it comes out, if there's another outbreak, like, we can lock down again, but then what? We all just die from hunger and starvation, not getting at food and product? No, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying it's a bit concerning if we open up too early when we're not ready to. That's the issue.
Well, the issue is, and the World Health Organization.
Oh, yeah,
I
the
think it
WHO?
was- yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who are you? Who? Okay, but the World Health Organization on Monday, I think it was, made a statement that said we would recommend that in the midst of more outbreaks, do not close down, keep functioning as normal. So that's a complete contradiction of what the Democrats are saying in America to what Dan Andrews is saying over there in the House, that you cannot afford to close down. And in fact, the World Health Organization said you have to learn to live with it.
Yeah.
Well, how many businesses would feel totally ripped off if we adapt that statement as recommended when they have lost their businesses?
Yeah.
I read every day in our courier mail on businesses, builders, cafes, famous restaurants, so to speak, infamous restaurants in our neck of the woods that have closed down because of coronavirus.
You want to talk about things that have shut down? Cinemas are like just straight
How are
up
they
going out of
surviving?
business. Well, they're not. I think 85% of cinemas in America are just either just straight up closing shop or staying permanently closed. The CEO of Disney is now moving their priority and what they are wanting to fund into like online streaming delivery. Their new animated movie Soul, like how they do one massive animated movie each year that usually just wins all the awards at the Oscars.
Mulan.
Well, no, that was the live action. So their this year's animated movie called Soul was originally slated to come out in cinemas, but now they're saying yeah, nah, stuff that. We're going to just put it up on Disney Plus this year.
Probably think of better words to say, but yes.
Oh, yeah, they had their business speech. But, yeah, like cinemas are just like
James Bond
going.
movies been
James
put
Bond,
off about 2-3 times.
Yeah,
and
3-4 times, yeah.
So, but I did hear too in the cinemas saying this, that they were making threats that they were going to be completely closing down
Yep.
if these film companies
Yes.
keep sending their films to outsource streaming.
Oh, yeah.
So you see, like, take for example the Disney film Mulan. I've never seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, was sent directly out to their streaming system.
Yes.
And I also saw that now that what do you call it? The Apple is now streaming it, more expensive than on Disney if you pay for it. So there's a lot of things happening like that, which is affecting. So is part of the problem that we become so much more advanced in streaming. It's like, for example, we were talking about as a church or churches in general, you just got some new equipment arrived today. So I see Matt Dengate's logged on. So Matt, a parcel arrived today at the church.
Oh, yeah, don't worry.
He's watching.
I told him. I said
and what do you call that thing?
it is it's a USB to Ethernet extender.
Right.
Whatever that means.
We won't go into that detail. But the fact of the matter is, we're talking about how much more churches...
Like technical churches are getting...
Can you imagine the business that is being made right now in reference towards this equipment?
Yeah.
It must be huge.
Like, I heard a church around here over, I don't know, north somewhere. They spent like 50 grand upgrading their whole system just for live streaming. It's incredible. What the heck?
So, well, I wouldn't use those words either. But the fact of the matter is, they spent a lot of money on it.
Churches are spending money on
this. We were fortunate because we were, can I use the word experimenting or trying out or advancing?
Okay, you're putting it too nicely. I would say that your hindsight in seeing the value in live streaming got us the equipment early before all this hit.
But how much more have we increased our equipment since this time?
Heaps.
Yeah, almost double.
Triple.
Yeah,
Quadruple.
Okay, so it comes across.
Quintuple.
Yeah, and which is interesting in itself, being able to see what's happening.
Yes. Hello. Oh, is the chat working? I don't think it's working, Erica.
There's a comment.
There's a comment.
Yeah, that's from Alex. I saw that.
Yes.
It says, Alex says, no US and Europe trips until 2022.
Oh, no. Can't see
I don't know,
Europe.
Alex.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I can't tell you you're right or wrong. All I know is I wasn't even thinking of a possibility of being able to travel until after July, August of next year.
Yeah, big time.
Let me tell you this much, though. I am saving money.
Oh, me too. I'm following your advice you said on Sunday morning. Save. Start saving.
Let me also tell you this. I lost a lot of money. And I still haven't recovered. So has Erica. Lost a lot of money on... I was flying out and had to cancel when I was going to America. Centered my international flights and all of our internal flights in the United States, which we cannot get reimbursed.
Oh, no.
And Virgin had promised to reimburse us, but then they changed their mind once they owned the company.
Yeah.
So they said they give us credits, and Delta give us credits, so our insurance won't pay us because they said, well, you have credits, so we're not paying you.
Yeah.
And how long do the credits last for?
Oh, don't tell me 12 months.
May 2022 right now.
So Erica says they last in May 2022. So if you can't fly again to, say, January 2022, and if everybody around the world is going to fly, there won't be enough seats because all the planes have been mothballed. So there's no planes. Josiah was telling me today that the major cruise ship companies that have hundreds or thousands of boats can't afford to just leave them. So they're scrapping them. They're stripping them down and scrapping them. Just dismantling them. It takes them, 7-8 months, he was saying there, to be able to dismantle them.
Yeah,
just selling them for scrap metal and everything else. These are these big cruise ships in Europe.
Ruby Princess.
I think that would have to have his name changed. Has to be melted.
Yeah.
So even that industry would take years to recover.
Yeah. Yeah, geez.
Years to recover.
To be fair, it is just a boat.
But what I'm saying is, how do you get the credit? So if I'm looking for a seat, Erica's looking for a seat, and they've got no money for it, it's just credit.
Yeah.
They're not going to let everybody just have credit. They're going to limit 1 in 20 seats for credit.
Yeah, like a raffle, maybe.
So all of us who have credit, they're not going to give it to us.
Yeah.
and then it runs out.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Hey, tough luck, man.
That's why it takes all this tough luck. Yeah.
Hey, before we keep going,
Thanks
I
for your
want
compassion.
to give my take on the cinemas shutting down. Look, I'm a film guy. I love my films. I love my movies. But let me say this. This is going to be controversial. But I think cinemas shutting down is kind of cool. And I'd be totally for that. Because I've had so many bad experiences sitting in the cinema. Someone's next to me. They're on their phone. I've screaming kids. It stinks. I would rather sit in my house on a comfortable couch and watch the movie on the widescreen in aircon and no nagging kids or smelly people next to me. The cinemas need to shut down. I'm totally okay with that. It's sad that people are losing their jobs, but I am not upset that the cinemas are going. I'm sorry. No, Christopher Nolan, that you only want people to see Tenet in your ultra widescreen. I spend heaps of money shooting on 70mm film. I don't want to see it in the cinema. I want to see it at home on my couch in my underwear. That was too much information.
Well, this is why we only have Ed every second week.
Yeah.
Maybe
good
there
times.
could just be there's relaxation chairs, so there's space between people.
Yeah, that would be nice. I like the bed chairs.
My personal irritation in cinemas
yeah.
would be when people ruffling through candy.
Oh, opening the
wrappers,
popcorn,
or
opening
potato
drinks.
chips is the worst because and then they're crunching. Yeah, and the people who come in particularly because they're trying to be frugal.
Yeah, sneaking.
I guarantee you Erica would be frugal, taking in all that stuff. And the noise it makes, it just, I'm a sort of person that it gets irritated with the noise anyhow.
Yes.
And the noise it makes is just incredible. Incredible. So, no, I think the times have changed.
Yeah.
And it comes in there.
Hey, I heard drive-in cinemas are actually doing pretty well right now.
There's no land. They've all been bought up.
Yeah.
Where are they? I mean,
There's not a lot.
We have one next to us.
Yeah.
Which is down there just off near Jacob's Well.
Yes. I think I've been there. I think I have. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about. I like this trashing cinemas. I like it.
Oh,
it's
no.
the
I mean,
industry I'm in.
I think it's a good outing. Like, my mum,
Yes.
she's 83 and she goes out with, her friends. And
Happy birthday, Vi, for last week.
Yeah, she goes out with her friends and they go to cinema.
Yes.
Yes, Erica, I know. Erica's about to say, it's Sean's birthday on Friday.
Oh, really? It is?
Yes,
Oh, happy birthday, boss. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I can't wait to see the gift.
We got some great gifts.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to take you out for lunch.
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to take you out. I'm going to bless all of my staff for lunch. Take you
Yes.
out, which is great, just to bless you.
Yes.
So getting back to the point, look, there's a lot of things changes. And
Yes.
We're talking about streamlining.
Live streaming.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm totally out of touch. Live streaming.
said it, not me.
Yeah, I don't mind. I prefer to be out of touch than that than the word.
Yes. Yeah.
So live streaming.
Live streaming.
Live
Good work.
streaming has certainly changed things.
Big time. Oh my goodness. Everyone's live streaming now. We're live streaming.
Yeah, I know. Which is it has good. Some of the negative things as in church is instead of people wanting to come back to church, they're just sitting in the areas. And then some people that we've had in our church from other ethnicity, different cultural backgrounds.
Yeah.
During this lockdown, they're able to log into their country, wherever that might be.
Yeah.
And so now, rather than coming to an English-speaking church,
Yeah.
they're now just spend the Sundays in their own nationality areas.
Yeah.
Which might well work for them, but it doesn't work for the kids.
Yeah. Especially, if it's a complicated language. Teenagers. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything else, it doesn't work because they're not living in that country.
Yeah.
And you got to learn how to adapt and do that. So
Yes.
that's what comes about. But these are all part of the changes and the things that happen. So which is called life.
The new normal.
Well, believe it or not, Ed, Christmas is coming up.
Is it?
Yes.
It hasn't been cancelled.
No.
Oh, that's good.
It doesn't matter what the government does; it's still there.
That's true. That's true.
So Christmas is coming up, which is rather interesting.
December. If you didn't know, Christmas is in December.
December
I just gotta, just in case you didn't know.
I used to always tease Pastor Brad Payne because he would hate us counting up too early for Christmas. So as soon as it was the day after, we used to put the countdown calendar on for him and get him going. But Christmas is coming up, so We're in the middle of October.
Yep.
And we start to see things really happening probably 1st of November.
1st of November,
In
yeah.
only a couple of weeks.
Oh, don't say that.
And knowing my gorgeous wife, girlfriend.
Yes. Grandma?
She's the best looking granny there ever is. Okay. And my wife, she likes us to start putting stuff up November.
Yeah. Yeah.
In October, November. And it could be because we do all of our department breakups in November.
Yes.
Because the month of December is very busy.
Oh, hectic.
Yeah. So I've been preparing
Yes.
for it already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been getting odds and ends and things.
You got a tree and whatnot already?
Well, I always had a tree.
Ah.
Okay, but just some extras.
I thought you go out up north and you chop a tree down and you lug it back.
Up north here is North Queensland, which would be a bit hard. Okay, that would be a palm tree. Okay, which
I could still work.
Well, that would work. That would work for Easter.
Oh, yeah, Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday.
Yeah, I
So
knew that.
all those things are there. Here's trivia.
Uh-oh.
What month do we believe Christ was born?
I heard this fact a while ago. Wasn't it May?
I believe that March, April.
Oh, I knew it was either March or May. It was an M month. And I just took a
Do you
stab.
want another trivia
Let's hear it.
about Christmas?
Yes.
Okay. The inn. There was no room for them at the inn.
Yes.
So what does it mean, the inn?
The inn wasn't an inn. It was more like their house.
Very good. So the very word inn in Greek,
Yes.
okay, can mean two things. It can literally mean a physical inn you pay,
Yep.
or it could mean a room, like a family's room to where you go there. So when we think of it literally,
Yes.
and they're being forced by Caesar Augustus to go back to their place of origin.
Origin, yeah.
Which is Joseph being the fiancé,
Yep.
taking her back. So when we lived in America for 3 years,
Yep.
whenever we came back to Australia, we didn't go to a hotel. We stayed with family.
Yes. You went to the inn.
Family room. So the real thought is that they went back to their family home,
Yes.
but because of the shame and everything else, there was no room.
Yes.
But they allowed the manger, the stall of the place, for them to dwell.
Yeah.
Not an actual innkeeper. So the next thing is, what was in your mind the manger?
Oh, wasn't it just like a trough? Like a feeding trough? Like for the pigs?
Well, okay, let me go a different way. Well, it is. It's a trough. Okay. So what is what's the word? There's no room for them in the inn, so
Yes.
they went to,
The barn?
what's the word we got here? Stable.
Stable.
Okay. So I had a mind block there. So what is a stable in your mind, according to this area?
Where the horses are kept, right? Yeah. Oh, no, this is the trick one.
No,
Got
well,
this one wrong.
I have been to Bethlehem.
Okay.
Okay, and I saw it myself. So what happens? It was almost like you had it's all stone, right?
Yeah.
So the house is on top, and underneath is like what you'd call a garage.
Yeah.
And so the stable was underneath, though, and then caves. So they're in caves underneath, not out in the open like we'd think an American farm or something like that area there. So that's how the setup is. So completely different to what we would imagine.
Yes.
But it's most interesting to see the, build up and see how it all looks in the area. So a bit different to our understanding.
Yes, the Western interpretation of the Eastern written Bible.
Reading the Bible through Eastern eyes rather than through Western eyes, which is always a novelty. But, it's most interesting, and, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So we've got great things done. The first Sunday.
Oh, yeah, the first Sunday, yeah.
First Sunday, December is the 6th, I think it is, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
The 6th. And besides our normal morning meetings, that's when we do our market.
Yes.
We'll be doing it 5 to 7, but we'll also be doing from 6:30 to 7 because sunset is around about 6:32, Erica tells me, is going to be on that day. So we're going to be doing carols for 20 minutes.
Yep.
And I have a wonderful artist.
Yes.
Lisa is coming.
Yes.
And she's trained in regards to, what do I say, that area? Opera. And she has a young student as well as a singer, 14-year-old guy, tremendous voice.
Hudson,
yes.
Yep.
And they're going to be doing 20-minute segment in that
yeah,
area.
it's going to be good.
And we got a couple of big new decorations to be used. It's going to be a great time of celebration in the opening areas. And, of course, outside you're allowed 1,000 people.
Yeah. That'd be crazy, yeah.
We should have that worship guy who's arrested over here.
Yeah.
Okay. So it works out well. He won't get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Then the following week,
Yes.
which is the 13th,
Yeah.
we are having our Carol Spectacular.
Yes.
Jacinta is doing that.
Carols, woo.
Carol Spectacular, and she's been working very hard.
Yes.
And I understand because we're limited in numbers.
Yes.
And because some churches aren't going to be open. I
Yeah.
don't know what they're doing. So we're going to be doing 2 programs. One will be
Yes.
at 4 o'clock and one will be at 6 o'clock.
And we are streaming the 6 o'clock one. So if you,
That's
if
what we're
you
looking
still
to do.
can't make it or you don't feel safe to come, we are still streaming one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then what happens, we are doing like a $1 gold coin to get a ticket.
Yeah.
And that's not because we need your money. It's just that we want to make sure that you will turn up with that seat so
Yeah.
others don't miss out.
Yes.
So that's what's happening there. Then the following week,
Yep.
which is what, the 20th?
A Sunday again?
20th? Yes. The 20th is going to be, and Stephanie Gibert,
Yes.
okay, is taking care of that. And it's going to be a production, a
Yes.
Christmas play, and it's called The Fourth Wise Man. Have you ever heard that before, The Fourth Wise Man? It's
Nope.
a nice story.
Okay.
Very
nice.
good. And about following it. So that'll be, and we're doing the same thing too as well, $1 a ticket.
Yes.
You know what I mean, coming in there, not for sake of the money, but just to put some value on that ticket.
Value, yeah.
Because we have limited numbers. And once the 6 o'clock is booked up, is this better words, Erica, our switcher? Once the 6 o'clock is booked up, and we notice people will do a 4 o'clock
Yeah.
session as well.
And once again, we will be streaming the 6 p.m. one.
Yeah.
Just in
So
case.
each of those things will be happening.
Yeah.
So which makes it worthwhile.
Yep.
So is there something that God's telling you want to finish off with, Ed?
Well, we can talk about what's happening this week. You know, we got young adults tonight. If you want to come out to young adults, that's happening. We got Lavidia sharing. So that's pretty sick.
Was that right?
Yeah, Lavidia's sharing something.
So that sick is S-I-C?
Yes. With a K. Capital K.
No, I think it's S-I-C. I think it's S-I-C. So, which is great. So, yeah, that's very good. And where are you doing the young adults?
We are doing it here at the church at 7 o'clock. And if you come, it'll be great. Lavidia has an awesome word. Make sure you guys come.
Yeah. And my message on Sunday morning.
Yeah, we got you.
And Josiah speaking at night.
Sunday.
Josiah's a popular
Yes.
young fellow.
You're all
Good
right.
son. I just get by, but he's a popular guy. So, is Small Choices Part 4.
4.
7 in the series.
7 in the series.
So this Part 4 is A and B.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
This is getting more complicated.
Yeah. So it's called Stay.
Stay. You
So
just did stop.
That's right. So the first message was small choices.
Yep.
Second was start.
Yep.
The third one was stop, STOP. And this one is stay.
Hey, do you want me to start or what? What's going on here?
This is how it is. So there's a quote I like by William Shakespeare, believe it or not. It says,
Ooh.
I have more care to stay than will to go.
Oh, okay.
I have more care to stay than will to go. So that's what it is. Do you have the staying power? Okay.
Okay.
And that's what it's all about, is the staying power.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. So a great biblical example of staying power.
Yes.
Okay. So remember with the example of stop, I used Moses with his father-in-law, Jethro, which says stop doing what you were doing.
Yep.
Okay. So in this one, I would refer towards Ruth, where she had the staying power, where her sister went back, but she said, I will stay with you, and your God shall be my God, and your people will be my people.
Yeah.
And how we have choices to say, no, I'm not going to flee, I'm not going to run, I'm going to stay.
Yep.
Do you understand the difference now between stop and stay? So with stop, it was Jethro saying to Moses, stop doing what you're doing, it's not good for you or the people. And with Ruth, when her sister said, no, I'll go, she said, no, Naomi, I will stay. So it's the staying power. So on Sunday, I'll be speaking on small choices, part 4.
Subsection A.
Part A, which is stay.
Yeah.
Hey?
Hey.
Stay.
Or we can just, it's not though, it's technically 4 in the
You know we can't hear you,
Hey,
Erica,
we can't
online.
hear you, Erica.
Push the numbers back, so it's
Okay.
just 4.
So it's just 4.
It's just 4.
Part
It's
4,
just
section B.
Yes.
No, bees.
So part 5's anchor? Is that what part 5's called? Anchor?
Well, you have to wait and see, okay? But I just wanted to make sure I could clarify the difference for you between stop and stay.
Stop and stay, yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So as Shakespeare says, I have more care to stay than will to go.
Will to go.
And that's what happened with Ruth. She had more care to stay with Naomi
Yes.
than will to go like a sister Opa. And that's the key.
Yeah.
So in our life of choices, how we handle it.
Yes.
Will I see you on Sunday?
I was thinking about coming in.
Oh, that's
I think
good.
I think I might come.
Okay, well, that's good. So it'll be great to have you
Hey,
there.
am I going to see you Sunday?
You certainly will. And I look forward to Sundays.
Yeah, it's good.
Sundays are a highlight to me.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I start off, obviously I'm up at 3 a.m.
Of course.
I have a 4 a.m. run.
Yes.
I do it. It's not far. It's just like 5Ks.
Oh, yeah, it's just 5Ks. Oh, it's nothing.
not-
It's just 5Ks.
No, it's not really much. It's relaxing with the dog.
Yeah.
Dodging. You'd be amazed how many kangaroos or wallabies. They're wallabies.
Yeah.
I must come across 20 odd wallabies on the track because it's just pitch dark. And
You see a lot of football players there. Is that what you're trying to say?
well, speaking of, they had a draw against New Zealand in New Zealand. That
Oh,
was
okay.
16-16. But the fact of the matter is that I love having that little run with the dog, or jog. It's not a run. And then I come back and read a bit more and study while I wait for
100
Sandra.
pages?
Of a book, yes.
Yeah.
And then come to church and prepare, and we do the greeting with you.
Yes.
It's a good format. I'm really enjoying it.
Yes.
And I'm enjoying the 8 a.m. and the 9:30 a.m.
Okay, let's have a controversial opinion. Which is better, 8 or the 9:30?
I don't think you can judge one as bad as like saying at 6 o'clock. It depends what your needs are.
Yes.
So the 8 o'clock we call our chapel service, which
Yes.
has to do with those who are just wanting a 1 hour service and
Yes.
they wanted a bit more. The music is a bit more old school, and Mark and Lisa did a great job. Lisa
Yeah.
was on keyboard, Mark was singing with Lisa.
Yeah, hey, look, Lisa's got a really good voice. Very unexpected.
Yeah, she came in good, just
It was-
bridging and
yeah.
doing it. So, which is great. And then, of course, the 9:30 is our morning worship.
Yes.
So you're talking about 15 minutes at the 8 of singing
Yes.
versus close to 30 minutes,
Yeah.
25, 30, at the 9:30.
Yes.
And Andres did a wonderful job on that time.
Yes.
there, and Betty as well. So, and all the team, but it's
Yes.
good. And then our 6 o'clock is different again. It's almost a young adult style, but it's got a whole
Yes,
different
very
feel to it.
fun celebration.
Yeah, so each of them was great. And no, I'm thoroughly enjoying church and all those areas.
I'm glad you're enjoying coming to your church when you preach.
Well, the old story is this. It was Sunday morning,
Yes.
and this man was still in bed when he should be up. His wife came to him and said, honey, you need to get up and get ready for church.
Yes.
And he said, I'm not going. And she said, honey, you need to get ready and go. He said, I'm not going. And she said, well, why aren't you going to church? He said, those people aren't friendly to me. He said, they're mean. And she said, oh, come on, honey, I think you're just exaggerating. He says, no. I said, they're really mean. They're not friendly, and they give me a hard time. And he said, he said to his wife, you give me one good reason why I should go to church. And she said, well, honey, you're the pastor.
Oh, yes, I remember this joke. I was like,
No loud cheers.
oh,
for that
sorry,
one?
sorry.
We have to finish off. But the fact of
Yes.
the matter is that, no, I do enjoy church.
No, it's
and
good.
there is, on a serious note, there's many pastors who dread church because of the pressures and everything else. And that's why I go through a routine of physical, a routine of life, a routine of different things just to relax and get myself together. And so I want to go to church to give, not to get.
Yes.
So when I come to church, I want to give a kind word.
Yes.
I want to give a warm greeting. I can't say a warm embrace because of COVID won't let me.
Yes.
But I want to be able to speak life and speak hope and hopefully just bring about something different and touch someone's life. And to me, that's what it's all about. So I do enjoy church and I love church.
Amen.
Amen. Father, I just pray over every brother and sister and everyone who might be a future potential brother and sister who was listening to this program, either live or delayed, that you'd touch their hearts. I pray, Almighty God, that whatever the need is, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial, relational, whatever the need is, Father, that they would just know your peace and know that you're working with them in the midst of every situation, circumstance. I pray against this cursed disease of COVID-19. I thank you, Lord, that in our state we've been so blessed and protected. But I think of, Lord, of those in Victoria. I think of those, Almighty God, in the United States. I think of those in Guatemala. I think of those, Lord, across Europe that are just seeing a huge outbreak, that your hand would be with them and upon them. We speak strength upon them. That we who are Christians, Lord, would not run and hide, but would be firm and strong in speaking life and meaning and purpose. I pray over the elections we have coming here on October the 31st, and I pray over the American elections coming up soon in November. I pray your divine intervention and peace and favor. Lord, I cover each brother and sister in the precious and mighty name of Jesus. Amen. If you want to interact with us, please feel free to do that. Contact us. We'd love to have contact with you.
Yes.
One and all. So thank you, Erica, being on the switch today.
Thanks, Erica.
If you could see her, she's in a full hoodie, and maybe we will post a photo on the screen. But she is in a hoodie with her ear muffs on the outside of the hoodie.
Yes.
She's totally freezing there. Ed, you're in a short sleeve shirt.
Yes.
I'm in this one here, so it's quite comfortable.
Yeah, it's good.
It's quite good. So next Wednesday, 11 a.m., we have a very special guest, Julie Sutton,
Live
from Guatemala. And we look forward to having her.
Yes.
And it'll be an absolute blessing.
And something else interesting to look forward to. Now, I
Yes.
haven't told Shaun about this.
Yes.
In a fortnight for the next episode of Today at Dunamis with Shaun and Ed, we're going to do something unique. I haven't even told you what it is yet.
You're not doing one of your cooking classes again, are you?
We're going to do a live cook-off. No.
No.
We're gonna do something that involves answering some questions. Specifically you. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. It's gonna be possibly controversial, but just know this: it's gonna be an episode you're not gonna want to miss out on. I'm very excited about it. I'm excited for next week too, but I'm also very excited for in a fortnight time what we're gonna do.
So who's been preparing this? Just you, yourself? and
Me.
you? Okay.
A lot of preparation about this fun little thing we're gonna do. This fun little test.
Well, I mean, if I don't know the answer, I'll have to take time and say I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Yes. So
It'll be
we'll
very
see how
fun.
it is. All right. Well, the Lord bless you and keep you, and the Lord make you fry
God is good.
all the time.
See you, everyone.
Bye.